actually, we didn't go through the history of like where you originally from.
And the Promised Land, Green Bay, or
Right.
Yeah, at that time, it was no knowledge up there.
There's no knowledge out there.
Not at all. And like I said, when we was driving down because Cream City, Milwaukee is an hour and a half away from Green Bay. Mm-hmm. So we would get on the highway just about every Saturday. They had their classes on Saturday. Mm-hmm. We'll go down there. We'll spend time in the 120 class. And I got 120 word of mouth. So I had to put every degree on cap before I got the next one. It was no giving out paper. I get it verbally, I write it down, I go home, study, come back with an understanding, and then they give me another one. And I did, and like I said, that's an hour and a half drive, so you better be ready if you're gonna spend that much time going down there. And as I got better, they started giving me 2 lessons or 3 lessons, and it helped me elevate faster.
Wow.
And when I Knowledge 120, my older brother, C. Latifullah, he called me on the phone. I'm sitting there with the guys. He's like, God, do you realize it took you 1 year, 3 months, and 4 days to Knowledge 120? I was like, damn, I didn't know that. I never thought about that.
Attention to it.
Yeah, but he pointed that out to me.
Right. And what in traveling, you said now you get to really appreciate.
Yeah.
The appreciation as opposed to getting it. You think if you would have got it at one time, you would have like put it into draw or something?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have appreciated it as much?
Well, what I was taught is you get it on, and there's no knock to anybody, but what I was taught is if you get it on paper like that, it's not walking and talking. That's why the culture is different than the knowledge. The knowledge is what you learn. The culture is what you live. So I got 120 and I lived 120. I walked with a person reciting it to me. I hand wrote it down. So I can literally in my mind, when you say like the builder, destroy, degree, and the 1 to 40, I know I wrote that on a purple sheet of paper because I ain't have my notebook with me because I had to write it on something. Right. And I can literally see my own writing sometimes.
Right.
And that was my process.
Right back to
absolutely.
That experience at one at a time like that is just like, yeah, I know where I was when I got that degree.
Yes, and you held accountable. Right. You're not gonna get another one if you don't show and prove the first one. And so it make you think. It pushed me to study. Because if I don't give some form of understanding, now your understanding grows in time. However, if I didn't at least give a basic form of understanding, I wasn't gonna get the next lesson. So it was a challenge to me to do more with what I had. And sometimes I'll be in such a rush to get the next one. Universal would be like, make sure you got a good grasp on what you already have before you be so thirsty for another one. And it made me appreciate what I had. Even though I hadn't finished 120, I had Knowledge 120, I appreciated just the student enrollment. We had took a time, went back and even went through our alphabet differently because it was brought to our attention. You could get a lot more out of those letters than what you may be seeing right now.
Absolutely.
And so we went back and redid them. We trashed all the definitions that we had and came up with shit that made sense, with things that actually made sense. Because you start quoting and reciting things and not being able to show and prove it.
Right.
Yep.
You know, see when I got mine, God, you know, see I had gotten my physical book of life, so it was like knowledge is the foundation, and the foundation, the man is the foundation to his family, the son is the foundation. So wait a minute, no, hold on. Just give me a basic definition. That's somebody else's. I mean, that is piece, but that's what somebody else is saying. Yeah. Tell me what you're saying.
Yep.
You know, so you know, just going through the basics of it. Yeah. That's important.
It is.
As opposed to just quoting what somebody else said.
Yeah.
The same thing with 120 lessons. Like, you know, I also learned that those questions are right and exact, but the answers are very near correct.
Indeed.
You know, so but you as an original man and God, you have to answer those questions for yourself as well.
True.
You know, we agree with Elijah, but you know, he started the work. We have to continue the work.
Indeed, because the law brought the understanding. All they had was knowledge and wisdom, and they did the best with what they had. The Father brought forth the supreme understanding. So that's why the understanding that Allah gave is outside of the lessons. That's why some things the Father taught ain't in 120. You know?
Well, can you build on that a little bit, like how you see that? Because I mean, some brothers don't appreciate it. They feel like when we say that, like we're disrespecting the authors of the lesson of supreme wisdom.
Indeed. Well, it's just that supreme wisdom But we got to deal with the understanding. What's the best part? The understanding. So we got to deal with it. We have to be people of understanding. That's why when you talk about knowledge and wisdom, that's why certain degrees can have little nuances. Some people can say this or that or he, or, you know, it can be little words that might be different. However, the grasp, the understanding, the comprehension has to be on the same page, though. At the end of the day, we say peace, we got to truly understand what peace really is. We truly have to be able to grasp the concept of 120. It's the implementation of what you have learned and how you see it. And this is another thing, because people be like, well, I see it this way. And guys used to tell us, I don't give a fuck how you see it. It ain't about how you see it or how I see it, it's what it is. Understanding is to see something clearly for what it is, not just what it appears to be. And so at the end of the day, we have to be the people of understanding. So Allah brought forth, because you look at it, the lessons was completed in 1934. Allah started our nation in 1964. That's understanding cipher years. That's 30 years. He brought the understanding of the cipher. They had knowledge and wisdom. They sat on knowledge and wisdom for some time. And there's nothing against them. That was their duty. However, the Father knew that he could take it to another level.
See, that gets a little controversial because, like I said, brothers, nowadays want to claim the 16th degree, like as if we were always, as if they were always
the 5%.
The 5%.
True.
But it wasn't until highlighted by Allah and popularized by his 5% that name became more synonymous with those who know who truly God is and teach.
Yeah, we embody that. We exemplify that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we know who the true and living God is, and we teach that the true and living God is the Son of Man, supreme being, black man of Asia. Some people know it but don't teach it. They teaching you that somebody else is God, or that you yourself are not God.
Or a little God. You're little.
Yeah, the little G.
The little G. Right.
Yep. And so we started showing and proving that lesson. That's why that relates to us, because we had the knowledge to give it equally too, because we was teaching all the human families of the planet Earth. Because everybody wasn't doing that either.
This is true.
Yeah.
True.
If Mecca did this.
Peace. In celebration of each other, we support each other's hustle. Weight Life has sponsored this content. You can get a sweatshirt, t-shirt, or a hoodie at the Common Unity store of a law school in Mecca. Or just simply hit me up. I got the hookup. Peace.